Denard Span has been Mr. Clutch for Tampa Bay this season, driving in a team-leading 21 runs. Tonight, Span and the Rays motor into Detroit, where Jake Faria will take the hill for Tampa Bay against Tigers right-hander Jordan Zimmermann. Monday Night Baseball from Motown. We are in Detroit, Michigan. The Rays look to make it 3 straight road series victories on this 3-city road trip, and it starts with Game 1 of a 3-game set from Detroit against the Tigers. From inside Comerica Park in Detroit, welcome to another evening of Rays Baseball alongside Brian Anderson. I'm Rich Hollenberg filling in for Dwayne Stats. And obviously the story of the season for the Rays so far, BA, has been the hot offense of this Tampa Bay team. Don't look now, but they lead the majors in batting average, and it's no surprise that that coincides with a hot streak from their leadoff hitter, Denard Span.
You know, when you think about Denard Span, what first comes to mind? For me, it's quality at-bats, and he just continues to put them together here for this Rays lineup out of that leadoff spot. When you look at his numbers on the season, you talk about making them count. 20 hits on the season. Now get this, 8 of them have gone for extra bases. 11 of them have come with runners in scoring position, and that's why you see him with those 21 runs batted in. Oh, by the way, he's seeing more pitches per plate appearance than at any point in his career. And that's why right now he remains the perfect guy for the top of this Rays order.
The pitching matchup tonight, a pair of big right-handers. Jake Faria for the Rays making his 6th start and 3rd road start this season against veteran righty Jordan Zimmermann, coming off his worst outing of the season, lasting just 3 innings last time out against Pittsburgh. Up next, Jose Alvarado has been lights out for the Rays this season. Michelle Margot has more on that in a moment as we get you set for Game 1 between the Rays and the Tigers from Detroit. The Rays have won 8 of their last 9. Can they keep the train rolling in Motown?
Detroit Tigers in game 1 of the series. Well, one of the guys who has stepped up in this Rays bullpen is 22-year-old left-hander Jose Alvarado. He is holding opponents, both lefties and righties, to a 174 opponent average in his 13 1/3 innings pitch. And because we are in Detroit, it's only appropriate that we point out that he has allowed no runs in 8 appearances on the road. Here is manager Kevin Cash on the value Alvarado has added to this pitching staff.
The power of the stuff. I mean, we talk about the strike throwing. He made a huge adjustment with strike throwing from, a year ago. But now, just the overall stuff from the side. I mean, it is devastating. I'm not going to compare him with other people, but you can probably pick some lefties in this game that throw upper 90s, 100 miles an hour. He's getting in that territory, and he's doing it with a really, really good breaking ball that some of those guys don't have.
When we come back, the Tampa Bay Rays look to start another win streak here in Detroit. It's Jordan Zimmerman on the bump for the Tigers, while Jake Faria takes the ball for the Rays. First pitch with Rich Hollenberg and Brian Anderson coming up.
What a gorgeous night for baseball in Detroit, and don't the Rays deserve it? And the Detroit Tigers deserve it. They've been victimized by 7 games postponed because of weather, but Jordan Zimmerman takes the mound tonight. And it is gorgeous here in downtown Detroit. Temperature about 60 degrees at game time, clear skies, no clouds, and Denard Span will be leading things off for the Tampa Bay Rays, followed by C.J. Croton. Matt Duffy will bat third tonight. Brad Miller, Daniel Robertson, Joey Wendell, all sporting hitting streaks. Carlos Gomez drops down to number 7 in the order. Malik Smith and Jesus Sucre, the birthday boy, filling in for Wilson Ramos tonight, doing the catching duties.
Well, and when you look at the season numbers on Jordan Zimmerman, a real interesting season. Tough to explain all of these numbers. You could see the record perfect at 1-0, but the ERA approaching 8. He does have more strikeouts than innings pitched. He's not walking a lot of guys, but the opponent's average very high. So it'll be interesting to see the approach that this Rays lineup takes against the right-hander from Detroit. Let's take a look at that Detroit Tiger defense and see how it's going to line up here tonight. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. And in the outfield, left to right, we've got Victor Reyes, Jacoby Jones, and Nicholas Castellanos. Across the infield, third to first, Jamer Candelario Jose Iglesias, Dixon Machado, and John Hicks. James McCann will be behind the plate.
Oh, there's Kevin Cash, the youngest manager in Major League Baseball in his 4th season with the Rays. Just got off the longest winning streak of his young career. Obviously, the Rays dropping the getaway game in Boston, 4-3, the final score on Sunday, but they have still won 8 of their last 9 games. And this is a team that is playing hot right now. On the other side, inside the dugout for the Tigers, it's Ron Gardenhire. You talk about a young manager in Kevin Cash. Ron Gardenhire is one of 6 new skippers in Major League Baseball this year. BA, if you want to call him new, spent a ton of time with Minnesota. 60-year-old is the 4th oldest manager in the American League.
I mean, he's the winningest manager in Minnesota Twins history. Was the bench coach for the Diamondbacks a season ago, and really one of the only guys with managing experience hired this season.
Already faced first-year managers and Aaron Boone and Alex Cora. Now the veteran Gardenhire. First pitch by Zimmerman is a strike. Denard Span, 267, but that's just the beginning of the story for him and his hitting tales. He's hit in 8 of his last 9 games.
Yeah, he's about 200 points higher than that when it counts, with runners in scoring position. One of the best in the game, and he just continues to work good at bats.
That ball on the corner for another strike.
Well, Jordan Zimmerman, he's not been able to reclaim the glory that he had with the Washington Nationals. A lot of injury issues. Not going to overpower you with his stuff, but has a 4-pitch mix. Mainly leans on the fastball slider.
The 1-2 up and away at 91. Evens the count at 2-2.
You did see the curveball to Denard Span, also a changeup. Very rarely goes to that pitch.
Here's the 2-2. Grounder to second, fielded cleanly by Machado. Over to Hicks at first, 1 away for the Rays. And that'll bring up C.J. Cron, who is getting really comfortable hitting in that number 2 spot behind Denard Span. 4 home runs and 10 RBIs batting from the 2-hole.
He has been on it, you know, much like a lot of the hitters in this Rays lineup. Very streaky, on a hot streak, got hot with the long ball, kind of like Wilson Ramos is sitting right now.
First pitch to Cron is a strike, 0-1.
And we know that he's done a lot of damage when you think middle of the plate, straight down and down and in. You get a breaking ball that hangs in there, a fastball that ventures in there, and he's been putting good swings on it. It's funny how you see all these trends emerge on the way teams go against certain hitters because of all the data that's out there. And so they like to crowd Cron with the fastball and go up above the zone with it too.
That was an elevated fastball, 92 miles an hour, and swung through by Cron, making it 1-2.
And what was interesting was when you look at the setup of McCann, he wanted it in. So he missed his location, but he kept it high enough that it was still effective. So look at up.
That ball hit right back up the middle. Zimmerman fields it cleanly over to first, 2 away. Jordan Zimmerman, a few years removed from a no-hitter. September 28th of 2016, did it for the Washington Nationals, rather 2014, and of course Rays fans might recall it because it was Steven Souza who made that leaping catch in left field to record the final out of that game. Then he signed a big deal to come over here in Detroit. It's in his 3rd season, and things have not gone as planned. 5-year, $101 million deal, and he's got an ERA north of 5 in his 3 seasons here.
Well, and when you think about, how about this? This isn't exactly a pitcher's ballpark. And when you look at his numbers since coming over to the Tigers here at home, he's 11-12, the ERA 6.77. Now that goes back to 2016. So he has really struggled here in the heart of Detroit.
Matt Duffy batting 3rd tonight. First time batting 3rd this season for the Rays. He's got an 0-2 count. Looks at ball 1.
That's what Zimmerman will do. Try to get ahead of you quickly. A lot of first pitch strikes and then expand from there. And from the right-handed hitter, it's expand with the slider.
Duffy, a handful of Rays on hot streak, 6-game hitting streak for Duffy coming into tonight. He's hitting .346 in his last 7 games.
Is there anybody in this lineup below 300 in the last week and a half?
I'm not sure about that. I was looking at the Tigers lineup. I think they have one guy in the lineup. Obviously, Miggy Cabrera not in the lineup tonight. We'll have more on that in a second. But Nick Castellanos is over 300, and everybody else struggling. The Rays quite the opposite, and Duffy has the first hit of the night. Takes a look as he rounds first, and Matt Duffy's in with a single.
Well, that was a great job. You know, he laid off the one slider off the plate away, then the one that bounced. That's an easy take. And you finally force the pitcher back into a fastball, and you stay inside of it, you go the other way. Seen a lot of this from Rays hitters. Shoot that ball the other way out into right center field. Thinking about going for 2, but a nice job Jacoby Jones hustling over, cutting it off, and getting it back in.
So already Kevin Cash pushing some buttons that pay early dividends. Carlos Gomez moved down in the order to number 7. Matt Duffy batting 3rd, and he has the first hit for the Rays tonight. That brings up Brad Miller, the left-hander, playing first base tonight, coming off a 3-for-10 series at Boston. The 0-1. And it's popped up high. In foul territory, Hicks circling underneath, makes the catch that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit for the Rays. The Detroit Tigers are coming up with Jacoby Jones leading things off. Game set against the Detroit Tigers. Today's lineup is presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Jacoby Jones leading off. Jamer Candelario has been swinging a hot bat. So has Castellanos, over 300. Victor Martinez, the 39-year-old, batting cleanup. McCann, Hicks, Machado, Iglesias, and Reyes. So there is no Miggy in the lineup and no Leonis Martin leading off for Detroit. He's been a pleasant surprise so far, getting the 2nd straight day off for Ron Gardenhire. So in steps Jacoby Jones, the center fielder, batting .270 on the season. First pitch from Jake Faria, strike on the inside.
Well, for Jake Faria, what you want to watch for, especially out of the windup, is that little pause over the rubber where he gathers his body and everything starts to flow down towards home plate, downhill at the same time. When he's had trouble, it's the front side drifts, the arm doesn't get to a consistent release point, and all of a sudden he starts to spray pitches around the zone and out of the zone. So keep your eye on that, and usually that's something you can pick up early, very early in a ball game.
Here's the 0-2. Driven to center field. Malik Smith has a beat on it, and a line out to center is the first out of the game for the Detroit Tigers.
Well, let's take a look at the rest of that Rays defense, brought to you by Golden Diamond Source. In the outfield, left to right, we're going to go with Span, Smith, and Gomez. Across the infield, third to first, Matt Duffy. Daniel Robertson gets the call at short. Joey Wendell and Brad Miller. Jesus Sucre, birthday boy, behind the dish.
It's all downhill for him now. He's reached 3 decades, officially 30 years old. Happy birthday, Suki, getting the start.
To be 30 again.
Wilson Ramos was giving him the business in the dugout before. He said, he looked at him, he said, "Don't look at me, you're 32. What a luxury the Rays have, huh?
Yeah, you know what? And I'll tell you what, they're close. They're close off, you know, away from the field. And they are excellent at handling a pitching staff. And we talk about Sucre just about every time he's back there, just how demonstrative he is with the glove. You're seeing more of that out of Wilson Ramos, too. And helps the pitching staff.
Here's the Buffalo. Says he's fine. Would love to pinch hit. Would love to get in the game and face his former battery mate in Jordan Zimmerman. I don't know if that's going to happen tonight.
Well, no, he's on a nice home run streak right now. So if you're going to try to continue that streak, I want more than one at bat.
Right.
So give me a full game, give me 3, 4, 5, and let me take my chances there.
Here's the 2-1 to Candelario. Bounced in the dirt, and it's 3-1. Jake coming off a start at Baltimore where he lasted only 4.1 innings. The Rays are going to need more than that tonight, and unfortunately he lets Candelario get the first walk of the game.
Well, that has been an issue, and we talked a little bit in the pregame show about this Rays starting rotation. The last 6 starts, they've lasted 27 innings, and that, you know, puts an awful lot of pressure and stress on that bullpen. And so that's what Kevin Cash wants more than anything, is for Jake Faria to be efficient and to get deep into this game.
And now Faria facing one of the better hitters in the American League, hitting .308, Nicholas Castellanos. First pitch swinging. Wendell in the right spot, over to Robertson, and they turn 2. A 4-6-3 double play ends the first inning for Jake Faria. Wendell to Robertson, over to Miller. Top 2 coming up. Sun is brought to you by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Tampa Bay Rays. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. We head to the top of the second. No score from Comerica Park in Detroit. And up steps Daniel Robertson, batting 5th tonight for the Rays. One of the hottest hitters in all of baseball. As a matter of fact, BA, with this plate appearance, he is now officially on the list, leading the league in on-base percentage and second in the league in batting average.
Quality. You know, another guy in this lineup, you know, his strike zone discipline has been excellent. He hasn't gone outside of it very often. And what does that tell you? Well, if you're not chasing outside the zone, you're swinging at pitches you recognize in the zone. That's going to give you a lot greater, you know, chance for success, and that's what he's been able to turn it into.
D-Rob coming in 355 with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs, sporting a .500 on-base percentage. Not swinging at a lot of bad pitches.
How about that? 500. I mean, that's not any number to half the time. He's finding his way out there. That's how this offense has been built.
Looks at a 3-1 fastball to make it a full count at 3-2.
Almost like he was looking for something middle away, because that for a 3-1 fastball is something, he goes back and looks at the video, he's going to want to have turned it loose.
And he's caught looking. Strike 3.
Caught guessing, I think. I mean, when you think about the last 2 pitches that Daniel Robertson took, 3-1 fastball right down the middle and a 3-2 fastball that's right there, and just not able to pull the trigger on either one of them, and that immediate walk back tells you that he was looking for something else.
Almost like he was saying, there's no way he's going to do that once, let alone twice.
Right.
But he did, and Zimmerman's got his first strikeout of the night. That brings up Joey Wendell, sporting a nifty 7-game hitting streak. Last 5 games, he's had multiple hits. Outside with that offering, 2-0 to Wendell. Fair to say the arsenal has diminished a little bit in terms of pitch repertoire for Zimmerman through the years. That one sky to left field, going back and against the wall, making the catch is Victor Reyes. That catch was a little tougher than it looked. High sky, and the sun's still setting in that direction, and Reyes makes the catch at the wall.
You know, and you're talking about a left-handed hitter, and Joey Wendell, he's got some pop in his bat, but you don't think about this kind of pop. It's 345 down the left field line. Keeps drifting and drifting. Able to just corral it there right out in front of that wall. Nothing smooth about that entire play.
And Reyes probably getting used to playing defense at all. Hasn't gotten a lot of time this season. Ron Gardenhire says mostly due to the fact that they had 7 games postponed because of weather. That ball high to Carlos Gomez.
Baseball is a game of reps. Getting reps. That's why it's, you know, every day, and even some pitchers, if you have a day off, they still want to play catch to keep everything moving, keep it fresh. And if you're missing 7 games early in the season, and you know you're not getting reps, you're not even able to practice, do anything on those types of days, it makes it tough to perform at a high level.
The 2-0 to go. Outside, 3-0.
Imperative for Jordan Zimmerman to pitch from ahead. Doesn't have the stuff or the life to pitch from behind.
Here's the 3-0. And he walks Gomez on 4 straight pitches.
When was the last time, or has anyone ever said that? Carlos Gomez on 4 straight? I mean, one of the more aggressive hitters in the game.
Now maybe the chance for a little 2-out rally. I don't know if there's any team in baseball who's had the bottom third of their order as hot as the Rays have, and Malik Smith is a big part of that. Coming in at 342. And Zimmerman throws over to first, keeping Gomez honest. And again,
get used to it. Jordan Zimmerman loves to throw over to first base.
Is that right? Why is that?
Year in and year out. You know, a right-handed pitcher, it's always more difficult for them to control the running game as far as anybody that's considered a base stealer on first, because you're not looking directly at him. So, you vary your times and you throw over, you just try, there it is. I mean, you'll see this all night. If you Rays have base runners, you're going to see him throw over there all night long. And you get them diving back in, you try to get them to shorten their lead a little bit. Maybe you try to get them a little tired.
Gomez on first, 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Mount Smith, and he swings through, strike 1. Alex with a .405 on base percentage, getting a ton more time than even he probably expected due to Kevin Kiermaier's injury. That ball popped up. Shallow center field. On comes Jones. He squeezes it for the final out. Victor Martinez going to lead things off, followed by James McCann and John Hicks as we head to the bottom of the second from Detroit.
Victor Martinez strolling to the plate, and let's take a little look at a scouting report on Victor. Owns the Rays. How about this? 86 career games against the Rays, and Victor Martinez has hit .348, 14 home runs, and 69 driven in, and that's against some very good pitching staffs. And on top of that, he is a switch hitter extraordinaire. You want to talk about a guy at depth from both sides of the plate over his long, illustrious career. Right-handed hitting, .303 average career, .295 from the left side.
Swings at the first offering from Faria, 0-1.
Usually even a switch hitter has a stronger side, and when you're talking about a career as long as his and it's 8-point difference, unbelievable.
Over 1,000 RBIs in his career as he fouls that one off to make the count 0-2. 39 years old in his 8th season with Detroit, final year of his 4-year deal with the Tigers, and most people around these parts feel like this is going to be the swan song for V. Mart in the Tigers uniform.
Now, he broke in with Cleveland in 2002. I played with him in 2003. One of the few guys that still have contact with that are still in the game.
One and 2 to Martinez.
Well, he's making what, $18 million a year, and this Detroit payroll had gotten so bloated.
And that ball is driven but foul down the right field side. Count remains 1-2.
Trying to win that one last title for Mike Ilitch, and they were not afraid to spend money.
He has 2,054 career hits coming in. That's number 8 on the active list. The 1-2 evens the count at 2-2. It's been a little bit of a struggle this year for Victor Martinez, something he's certainly not used to. As a matter of fact, he's 1 for his last 16 coming into this contest. Just 2 hits in his last 10 games. The 2-2 low, and we have a full count.
Well, you know, things start to slow down, and you think about the stuff and the pure velocity in this game, and Victor Martinez being 39 years old, and that's not as quick as it once was.
The 3-2. And it's grounded right to Brad Miller, who makes the play unassisted, 1 away in the bottom of the second. Michelle Margot joining us from down on the field. What you got, Michelle?
Thanks, Rich. Well, when it comes to Jake Faria, there's been a lot of talk about his routine and the way he's been preparing, or if it's changing at all. And I talked with pitching coach Kyle Snyder exactly what they meant by that. And he said they've returned to plyometrics and catch play with hops and drive legs. And that's been a big part of what they're focusing on right now, because that's what he was doing when he had success before. So they're really trying to recapture that. Guys?
Yeah, Michelle, Jake is just one of the guys in this clubhouse on this pitching staff, BA, who gives a lion's share of the credit for his success to Kyle Snyder. He's been with him pretty much all throughout his minor league career, and now with the Bigs.
Listen, Kyle Snyder, we were teammates. We were teammates with Kansas City, you know, back in the early 2000s, and he has just great demeanor. You know, you didn't think of him as a pitching coach back then. He was a teammate, but boy, what a perfect niche job for him, because he's very level-headed. He's nothing like me, let's just put it that way. Very level-headed. I mean, understands how to connect with different types of personalities and be able to talk to them in their language that they understand. And it's no wonder that Jake speaks so highly of him.
That ball fouled back. And it's going to be 1-2 to James McCann, doing the catching tonight, hitting .357 in his last 7 games, coming off a 3-for-5 effort Saturday against the Orioles. McCann with hits in 9 of his last 10 games. Here's the 1-2. Fouled away again. The count remains at 1-2. No score, 1 out, bottom of the second. Rays and Tigers, game 1 of a 3-game series. This was a 9-game road trip, abbreviated to 8 games after the first game in Baltimore was postponed. They'll replay that as part of a doubleheader in May. But so far, the Rays have suffered just 1 loss on this road trip, as we have a 2-2 count to McCann.
Well, there's no doubt Kevin Cash, you know, thrilled with the performance of his team. Says, you know, we need a little bit more out of the starters, the starting rotation, to get us deeper into games, but you just got to love the confidence that they're playing with.
Here's the 2-2. Swung at and missed, strike 3, and Jake Faria has his first strikeout of the game.
Boy, there is expanding the zone, and then there is this. And I'll tell you what, this pitch out of the hand was out of the zone, and still you get the swing. You log that away for later in the game, and remember that next time he comes to the plate.
Up steps John Hicks, the backup catcher to McCann, but Ron Gardenhire looking to get him as many ABs as possible, filling in for Miguel Cabrera at first base. Had a home run yesterday against the O's.
And that's exactly why you see him in there. You know, I mean, Ron Gardenhire trying to maximize his team any way that he possibly can. Play the hot hand.
Tigers 11-15 coming in. And that's strike 2 on a swing and a miss. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games. But if you look at the AL Central, BA, what looked like it could be a really strong division has kind of leveled off. Even the Cleveland Indians, who was everybody's pick to run away and hide in that division, not playing their best baseball right now.
Worst offense in the American League. I mean, Cleveland Indians right now have the worst offense in the American League, and so, you know, they've struggled. We saw the Minnesota Twins. I think they came into Tropicana Field 8-5 in first place at the time.
They've won one game since.
That's right. And you know what? When they were struggling with the Rays, you're like, look, they're going up to New York to play the Yankees. That's their house of horrors.
Yes.
And
another swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts to end the inning for Jake Faria. And the side is retired in order. Jake Faria off to a strong start. We're back with the top of the third after this. We head to the top of the third from Comerica. Rays and Tigers scoreless. Now it's time for Lowe's whole team together. And wouldn't you know it, Brian Anderson, just like Kevin Cash drew it up. The Rays are leading the major leagues with a .271 batting average.
after the first 10, 11 games of the season, could you have even envisioned this? And I mean, not you know, they're leading, you know, since then. They're leading overall. They've had that much of a comeback where they were, you know, for a time one of the most anemic offenses in Major League Baseball, and now leading the way right up there in on-base percentage too.
The 0-1 making it 0-2 on that swing and miss from Jesus Sucre. You'd have to think that Wilson Ramos would be getting the start after Sucre started yesterday, but Ramos nursing a little bit of a leg injury, says he's fine, and Sucre making the most of it, almost gets the hit. But Jose Iglesias is there with the little leaping grab at short. So the birthday boy is 0 for 1.
Well, almost got a little soft serve right there. That breaking ball right off the end of the bat. Jose Iglesias, a very smooth shortstop. He gets back there and able to just keep that thing out of the grass in center field.
That flips the card to the top of the order again. Denard Span, who grounded out to second in his first at bat, steps in for his second look at Jordan Zimmerman. And it's quickly 2-0 to Span. A couple of guys facing each other with Washington, D.C. ties. Span looks at ball three straight balls to Denard Span. I know he's been in the league 10 years, BA, but yesterday will probably be one of those games that Denard Span will remember for a long time. The 2-run jack and then that catch against the Green Monster.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tremendous catch, and you know, left field in Fenway Park can be tricky to play, and you've got to have a feel for going back to that wall, whether you can make the play or not.
Swinging on 3-0, and he grounds it to Hicks at first, who fields it cleanly.
And we go back to the home run. We're talking about the home run. That was the first home run that Rick Porcello had given up all season long. Here's that catch. You know, Devers making a bid. Perfectly timed, outstretched. What can you say? He had a heck of a day.
He's had a heck of a season.
Yeah, that too. Especially when it's mattered. You know, you look at his overall numbers and you say, well, 260 and some change. But boy, oh boy, you put runners on, you put runners in scoring position, and that's when he's had all of his hits.
Sitting over 300 in his last 7 games. He's actually 8th in the American Leagues in RBIs. And there's CJ Cron, and he is robbed by Iglesias. Laying out, Jose Iglesias ends the inning 1-2-3 for Zimmerman. Dixon Machado, Jose Iglesias, and Victor Reyes coming up for the Tigers. And we're already treated to our Bonefish Grill fresh catch of the game, turned in by Detroit Tigers shortstop Jose Iglesias.
Took 2 hits away from the Rays in that inning. That the more impressive of the 2. But that's how smooth he is. Tremendous defender.
First pitch of the 3rd from Faria is a swinging strike against Dixon Machado, who comes in batting just .213 with 1 home run and 12 RBIs on the season. But last year in Faria's 3rd career start here in this building, Machado went 2 for 3 against Faria.
I think the Tigers look at any offense that Dixon Machado and really Jose Iglesias are going to give them as gravy. They're such good defenders up the middle, something this team desperately needed.
Machado looks at strike 2, so Faria once again ahead in the count. Here's the 1-2. Fouled off.
Boy, he was tardy on that. He barely at 92 miles an hour up in the zone. And so you say to yourself, you know, if you're able to read that swing, that just really opens a lot of doors for Faria. He can go back with another fastball up there, or you can take that right into the split. I think he may go split here.
It's in the dirt for ball 2, 2-2.
But boy, he would be susceptible to the fastball if you climbed it up a little bit further, because he barely was able to foul that one off and was late doing it.
Well, you talk to Jake, and it's not lost on him. His struggles away from Tropicana Field, has an 18 ERA on the road in his 2 road starts this year. He just says he needs to find a comfort zone pitching on the road. That ball is skied behind first base. Miller's there to squeeze it.
Well, I love that too. I love that that job pitching, recognizing and beating him up there with that heater.
We talked about Machado going 2 for 3 against Jake Faria. That was pretty much all the damage that the Tigers could do against Jake last year.
Well, listen, he got off to such a great start. I think his first 9 starts, for the Rays were just exemplary, and this was one of them. Everything was on mechanically. The timing was good. And when that's right, guess what? The pitchers are going to follow suit. And fastball was sharp. Good slider we saw there. The split. Had it all working.
That was a Coors timeless moment. But to your point, last year it seemed like every start for Jake Faria was one of those kind of starts.
Yep.
He needs to find that consistency this year.
That's it. That's the key, because there was a little stumble down the stretch where it was a little hit or miss, and then the same thing so far this year. But really, it all involves, and I spoke to Jake about this. It all involves that little pause over the rubber, not getting started towards home plate too soon. And if he can do that, everything will be fine for him.
Ahead in the count once again. This time to Iglesias. Here's the 0-2. And that one's driven down the left field line. A fair ball. It's going to be extra base hits for Jose Iglesias.
And you know what?
Gomez in right field called for time. Iglesias wasn't abiding, and he's running all the way around the bases.
Now the guy in the orange shirt leaned out over and tried to grab that baseball, and guess what? That's a break for the Rays, because he probably cost Iglesias a triple.
First base umpire Marvin Hudson signaling that Iglesias needs to slow his roll, head back to second base.
Yeah, and this gentleman's night's going to end early. This ball rifled down the line, going to hit just fair, and then here's the fan. Oops. Yeah, that'll cost you. You don't get the ball, and you're going to leave.
Yeah, and you hurt your hand too.
Not too good.
I want to flash back to that game at the Trop on the last homestand. Remember that guy in the outfield caught that ball?
Yes.
And let him stay in the building.
No, they took him out eventually.
I thought they moved his seat.
I was told
he was exited.
Yeah. Well, we kind of went after.
Yeah.
Said, well, we're setting a bad precedent.
Went on a campaign.
Here. You know what I mean? I mean, you got to make a move, and from what I was told, unless I was.
Your intel's much better than mine.
It was pretty good intel, but they could have been just, getting me off the case.
Up steps Victor Reyes, the switch hitter, batting from the left side. He grounds it to Joey Wendell at second, who goes over to first, and there's 2 away. Iglesias moves to third on the ground out.
I've gotten a number of people removed from Tropicana Field this season.
Don't get on BA's bad side.
It's early, but I know there's been some moves that have needed to be made.
If you look inside BA's closet, you will find a yellow jacket. Color analyst by day, security guard by night.
My flashlight is so cool.
One of the best jobs I ever had, working security at concerts at Giant Stadium.
Oh, wow.
Free concerts all summer long.
Yeah, but you're also, it's Giant Stadium. You're going to get into some extracurriculars.
Oh, yeah. Well, I worked for the private security company, not the Yellow Jackets. So I got paid to stand outside and make sure everybody was walking in an orderly manner, and then I just snuck in and sat front row.
Bonus. You were a roadie.
Jones swings at the 1-0 offering. And it's 1-1. He lined out to center in his first time up. Two outs, bottom 3, no score. Tampa Bay at Detroit, first of 6 games this season between the Rays and the Tigers. Tigers will come visit Tropicana Field in July. Here's the 1-1. Jones fouls it back again, making it 1-2. And so far, I know it's early, BA, but 41 pitches through 2 2/3 is very manageable for Jake Faria.
Yep, and you know what? It gives you a sample size, like we said when the game started. Usually, if Jake is going to have any kind of struggles, it's early, and it is usually mechanically. So he's able to get through those first couple innings. Usually, he's locked and loaded.
Here's the 1-2, and he struck him out. That's the 3rd strikeout. Make that the 2nd strikeout. And the heart of the lineup for the Rays coming up in the top of the 4th. Scoreless through 3. Visit a local participating 7-Eleven store and pick up a Rays discount coupon for $7.11 tickets to the game this Friday at the Trop against the Blue Jays. Keep saving with $5 Budweisers and Bud Lights exclusively on the Budweiser porch. Ages 21 and over. Please drink responsibly. Jordan Zimmerman, the 31-year-old veteran, deals a strike in his first pitch to Matt Duffy, the number 3 hitter in the Rays lineup, who singled in the first hit for the Rays' only hit of the game so far. First time batting in the 3-hole for Duffman this season, and he evens the count at 1-1. Matt Duffy coming off the DL with a little bit of a hamstring strain and continued to wear the hitting shoes. And not only that, BA, but he feasts on right-handed pitching so far this season. 364 against righties is Duffy.
And a big reason why is what we saw in his first at-bat. He does a really nice job of staying inside the baseball, understanding that most right-handers, occasionally they're going to shoot some balls in on him, but for the most part it's middle away, and he's just going to stay inside it and shoot it the other way.
Here's the 3-1 right down the middle, and it's a full count, 3-2.
And how many 3-1, 3-2 fastballs have we seen the Rays take right down the middle, like they are just jacked up for looking for something else? Usually that's the dream pitch, the 3-1 heater down the middle.
Here's the 3-2, swung on and fouled away. Well, coming into this start, Jordan Zimmerman was saying a little bit of self-analysis. I started almost every hitter off with a fastball in that Pittsburgh start where he only lasted 3 innings. He said finally the Pittsburgh batters were picking that up, and I need to slow myself down a little bit and mix things up a little bit.
Boy, it does not take him long.
Duffy skies this one to right center. Castellanos is under it and makes the grab for the first out of the inning.
You know what we did see early in this game, and we'll have to see if he stays with it, or he switched it up because he's put it in the Rays hitters' minds, is a lot of early curveballs. That's a pitch that he doesn't go to that often, but there were a lot of early curveballs that first time through the lineup, and I think that's just to plant that seed. Hey, I got something else for you too. It's not just fastball slider.
That brings up Brad Miller, his second at bat of the game. He popped out to first in the first. Brad riding a 5-game hitting streak coming in, hitting .316 during those 5 games. He's just 1 for 10 in his career against Zimmerman. Well, pitch count up to 50 for Jordan Zimmerman. The 1-1. Upstairs, ball 2.
Wouldn't be surprised to see him come right back here with another 2-1 changeup. Those were the first 2 pitches of the at-bat. Behind in the count, and they're going to come right with a fastball in again. Dangerous.
2-1. Swung at and fouled straight back. So it's 2-2 to Brad Miller.
Yeah, that's one of those big pitches, and he elects to go with the fastball, and he ends up getting a foul ball off of it. So now in a 2-2 count, there's more that he can do. He can go back to the changeup. He could try a good slider down and in, can try to climb the ladder with the heater. James McCann going, what are we going to do?
Sets up outside, and they punch him out looking.
Backdoor slider, and his probably best executed pitch of the night. They went slider on the outside corner. Just works like that backdoor cutter. A hitter gives up on it, and it catches that outside edge.
So Jordan Zimmerman has surrendered just 2 base runners so far, 1 by a single, 1 by way of the walk in the second inning to Carlos Gomez. That brings up Daniel Robertson, who struck out looking his first time at bat in the top of the second. Here's the 0-1. Dialed it up to 93, but it was outside. And the count goes to 1-1 on Robertson. What a leap in maturity it has been at the plate for Daniel Robertson from his rookie year last year to this year.
Impressive. And you know what? You saw it in spring training where he showed up different body type. You know, he was never out of shape, but he was way more in shape this season, taking things seriously, understanding that he's going to get a really good opportunity.
The 1-2 and another looked at strike. So Jordan Zimmerman retires the side in order, back-to-back backward Ks, and that's going to bring up Candelario to lead off the fourth. Rookie Nick Kingham made his major league debut and took a perfect game into the seventh. Kingham retired the first 20 batters before Paul DeJong singled down the left field line. And I don't know what's more impressive, the pitching effort by the rookie or the Sunday best by the Pittsburgh Pirates wearing the old school 79 unis.
You got to love, first of all, what a debut. You talked about no walks, 9 punch outs, as clean as it gets. And then to do it, and that game obviously will be forever remembered by him for a number of different reasons, but in the old school, I used to have one of those Pirate hats. The only thing that was bad about it was before the day and age of the fitted hat.
Yeah.
My first fitted hat ever was a Baltimore Oriole. I love the white paneling, love that, you know, but it was adjustable. So when that hat doesn't work adjustable.
Yeah, a little boxy.
A little boxy, but that's all you had.
1-2 to count to Candelario, who walked in his first at bat. One of the only blemishes so far for young Jake Faria, making start number 6 this season.
I'm not even sure why I had that hat, because I hated National League Baseball.
I don't question it anymore. I've learned a lot about you in our short time together so far tonight. As a matter of fact, we're sharing a press box with one of the all-time legends, Kirk Gibson.
Yes.
He of the championship Tigers and, of course, the '88 championship World Series team from the Dodgers. And he came into our booth, exchanged pleasantries with you, and he walked out and he said, I had a Kirk Gibson jersey when I was growing up.
I did.
How does that happen?
Well, you know, it happens from growing up over, you know, near the Cleveland area, just a couple hours away, and getting tired of watching the Indians get their heads beat in every single season. So all of a sudden in 90 or 84, the Tigers get off to a 35-5 start, kind of capture everybody's imagination. So your eyes drift a little bit northward, and liked how hard he played the game. I mean, he was a grinder,
yeah.
And yeah, ended up getting a Kirk Gibbs. It wasn't even like now you get the jerseys and they're game one. This was a Detroit Tiger jersey that you buy and then you like iron on the name and the number yourself. You know, but I had one of those when I was, what, 12, 13 years old.
Jeimer Candelario struck out looking. That's 4 strikeouts already for Jake Faria. Looking sharp in the opening stages of this contest. But look out for Nick Castellanos. 7th in the American League in hits is Castellanos coming in. And he looks at a strike there. 0-2.
Boy, how about that downhill fastball? That, you know, this is when you know that Jake, all is right in his world, pitching-wise. I mean, he driving the ball downhill. All of the pitches have great late action.
Here's the 0-2. And that one is driven left. Span on the run, can't get to it. Castellanos is going to try to leg out a double, and he's in safely. Well, Nick Castellanos is no stranger to the extra base hit. He led the American League last year with 10 triples.
Well, here comes that split, and it does have good action on it, but Castellanos, a great job of plate coverage, and you could hear that ball was hit off the end of the bat, may have even cracked that bat, but he's so strong, he's able to drop it right down the line and get into second base. Nice hustle by Denard Span to try to make a play out of it.
6th double of the season for Castellanos. And now for the 2nd time in this contest, Jake Faria having to deal with a man in scoring position. Victor Martinez looking to drive home Castellanos for the first run of the game. And Jake quickly behind, 1-0 on the first pitch to Martinez. Martinez grounded out to Brad Miller to start the bottom of the 2nd inning. Here's the 1-0. Swung on and missed. Nice off speed from Faria.
Yeah, that looked to be again that split. He uses that as his version of the changeup. Has a different grip on it, not a true split. Kind of spread those fingers a little bit, tuck the ball back in there, and it just dies coming out of your hand. So it starts in the zone, and it just doesn't have the finish on it to stay in the zone. It just bottoms out. Very effective.
Here's the 1-1 to the switch hitting Martinez. This one chopped easily to Faria. Castellanos stays at second. Faria goes over to Brad Miller at first. Score at 1-3, and that's the 2nd out of the inning. Two outs, bottom of the 4th, no score. Tigers with 2 hits on the night. Castellanos, the 2nd one, coming on a 1-out double in this frame. And that's where Jake Faria is hoping to leave him as James McCann steps in for his 2nd at bat of the night. McCann struck out for the 2nd out of the 2nd inning. That one almost got away from Sucre.
Yeah, boy, interesting there, and Sucre laughing about it, so I'm not sure exactly what happened. That was just a fastball that really handcuffed Sucre. Nothing, he's looking for it down and away, it's down and and if he catches that.
That come in a little hotter than he thought it was going.
You know what, when you catch, if you open the glove and roll the hand over, it's one thing, but to catch it thumb down on the other side of the plate, really you're fortunate that he even caught it instead of just slapping it away.
There's the 1-0, fouled off, evens the count at 1-1.
Yeah, you're gonna take a look at it again, and when you see him, he's set up away. This ball is in off, and you're going with your thumb down to catch it. A lot of times when you do that, you end up slapping the ball. That's a hard ball to catch like that. That's why he was laughing. And Wilson Ramos will wear him out for that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Over.
It's getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah.
Celebrating birthday number 30. And that one gets away from Sucre, advancing Castellanos to 3rd. They'll credit a wild pitch to Jake Faria on that one. It's a 2-1 count.
Yeah, that ball, we've seen a couple of those. You'd rather have it there than hanging up out over the plate. Now you can't afford another one of these, obviously, with the runner at third, so you've got to make that adjustment, make it quickly if you're going to stick with that pitch.
Two outs, man on third, 2-1 count to the catcher, James McCann. That one swung on and missed.
Okay, listen, we talked about this earlier. James McCann swung at the strike 3 on a ball that was way out in front of the plate.
And you said file it away.
File it away. You absolutely file it away, because now this at-bat means something with the runner at third. Well, you got to trust your catcher if you're going to do that, but he keeps swinging at it, you keep throwing it.
So the million-dollar question is, does he go back to that well on the 2-2 pitch?
Why wouldn't you? They're not even to the plate. Make him make an adjustment. Doesn't look like they're going to. He's going to go something down and away.
It was, and it's taken for a ball. And it's a full count to McCann with a man on third and 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. John Hicks on deck. Hicks struck out to end the 2nd inning in his first at bat. Here's the payoff pitch from Faria. Swung on and missed. Big strikeout for Jake Faria, stranding Castellanos at third and ending the 4th inning in style. Jake Faria has only surrendered 2 hits so far for the Rays. Rays coming up in the top of the 5th of a scoreless game in Detroit against the Tigers. Fans, let's help kids play ball this Sunday when the Rays host the Blue Jays. Bring new or used baseball or softball equipment for our equipment drive, and you'll receive a ticket voucher to come back to another game. For more information, visit raysbaseball.com/playball. Well, there's a pair of Venezuelan brothers in arms.
Already he's trying to tell him about that ball that he caught behind the plate, and Ramos not buying it, not even a little.
Buffalo's sneaky funny in that clubhouse.
Yeah, and you know what, much more comfortable this season. You're getting a full spring training, going to contribute from day one.
Well, it doesn't just sound like lip service when you talk to anybody on this pitching staff, and it seems like the first words out of their mouth, regardless of what you ask them, is, well, Wilson Ramos is such a godsend behind the plate. And they say the same thing about Sucre.
No, you know what? And really, I'll tell you, I had an opportunity to sit down with these two guys last season. And
here's Wendell. with a drive, but it's an Adam ball right to the right fielder Castellanos for the first out.
And got to bond with them a little bit because I had played winter ball. The one time I ever went to winter ball was Venezuela. So their eyes light up. So I'm telling them about my experiences down there. And, you know, that conversation then leads into pitching and catching and all that different stuff. And when you see their passion for catching and their passion for getting a pitcher locked in and to help him out and you know, all the different facets of the game. And we didn't talk hitting at all. We talked pitching, catching, and they love to catch. They love to help a staff, nurse a staff through, recommend, hey, listen, we could try to do this a little bit better. They really take a lot of pride in pitchers having good outings, and you just love that. Love to hear that. You know, in this day and age, you can get, you know, maybe not this day and age because catching's different now. You want guys to nurse staffs and everything else, but there was a time where guys were so interested in offensive numbers that they just put fingers down, and you didn't feel like they had a clue what they were game planning back there for.
The 1-1 to Carlos Gomez fouled back. He's behind in the count 1-2.
Nice
you just saw a couple of moments ago, BA, while you were saying that, Yanni Chirinos sidled up next to Wilson Ramos. I was thinking to myself, that's the smartest place that Chirinos could be in the dugout right now.
No question. No question about it.
Just soaking it up from the veteran.
Yeah, talk situations. Something happens in the game. What are you thinking here?
The 1-2 swung on and missed. 2 up, 2 down for Jordan Zimmerman, who's cruising along as Carlos Gomez strikes out. It's the 40th strikeout this season for Gomez. The only good thing you could say about that is he's right up there with the Giancarlo Stantons and the Aaron Judges of the world.
Yeah.
Dubiously so, but hey, those guys strike out a bunch too, but they could bring the power, and we've seen what Go-Go can do in tough spots. That brings up Malik Smith with nobody on and 2 outs. We're in the top of the 5th from Comerica Park on a beautiful night for baseball. The Rays coming in winners of 8 of their last 9. The hottest team in the American League not named New York. And now Smith lines one to center. Going back is Jones. And before the warning track, he makes the grab. 3 up, 3 down for Zimmerman again. We head to the bottom of the 5th, scoreless from Detroit. Dealers and by your local Ford dealers. Now, Brian Anderson, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we are now in the District Detroit. It's been quite the renaissance in downtown Detroit, spearheaded by Ford Field, which is off in the distance here from Comerica Park. Now, Little Caesars Arena houses the Red Wings and the Pistons. Downtown Detroit has become a hot spot.
Let me tell you something, and lest you think that these places don't make a difference, it's unbelievable. Just, you know, throughout my career, going to different places, you know, Denver, where they built Coors Field and how that place just completely changed overnight, that downtown area. I remember my first start I ever made in the big leagues was in Minneapolis against the Twins, Minnesota. And downtown Minneapolis, I was no fan of. I kept real close to the hotel. Well, then they built Target Center. Things started to move. Now they built Target Field. And downtown Minneapolis is one of my favorite places to go now. Not only because of the ballpark, but just the downtown area. It makes a huge difference. And they have put 3 gems downtown here.
Yeah. It was 1 pitch, 1 out to John Hicks, who grounded out to short. Now Dixon Machado up for his 2nd time tonight. He popped out to Brad Miller in the 3rd inning, and he's ahead in the count 2-0 to Faria. Here's the 2-0. And it just caught the bottom part of the zone. 2-1.
That's the call that you get when you have been around the zone all night long. And all of a sudden the 2-0 pitch that's probably a ball, you get the benefit of the doubt.
Stu Shearwater doing the balls and strikes tonight behind home plate. And now Faria evens the count at 2-2. 5 strikeouts already tonight for Jake Faria. This is a Tigers team that doesn't strike out a ton, but they did strike out 11 times in their last contest in Baltimore. And that one hits softly to Brad Miller, who fields it cleanly over to first by himself.
I'll tell you what, how about that defensive setup? It worked out perfectly. You know, they had him on a complete pull around, and Brad Miller, the lone man, standing on the right side, and that ball gets in, and he doesn't even have to move. There he is. Right here. Just like they drew it up.
The shift works.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's going to pull it, but if he doesn't, more than likely he's going to hit it right here.
Jake's had a lot of success to that side tonight. 6 outs recorded on the right side of the infield already.
Keep guys on the balls of their feet. They're ready to field. They're ready to make plays for you. He's working quickly. He's throwing strikes. He's been sharp. That goes without saying. You look at his line.
Now Jose Iglesias steps in, the number 8 hitter for the Tigers. A 1-1 count, and the pitch count manageable, to say the least, for Jake.
No question. Right in keeping with that 15 per.
Here's the 1-1. That one's inside. Iglesias was taking. It's 2-1. Iglesias has one of the 2 hits on the night for the Tigers, a double back in the 3rd inning. Here's the 2-1. Swung on, grounded to the left of the 3rd base bag, so it'll be a 2-2 count to Jose Iglesias. Coming in batting .220, no homers, 7 RBIs, but he's got himself a 6-game hitting streak coming in, and he's hit safely in 12 of his last 14 games. Now, since we are Rays broadcasters and not Tigers broadcasters, I would then look at that number and say, how bad was it for Jose Iglesias in the first part of this season?
Yeah, well, you know, he's been a glove first guy for a long time, and that's what we said. Any offense they can get from him, Machado, they'll take, but they're more out there to run prevention. A streaky hitter, and I don't think that he is seeing a fastball in this entire at-bat. Been all off speed.
He can't put the ball in play, hitting .305 his last 15 games as Iglesias. It's a full count now. Here's the 3-2. And this one's popped up. Should be a can of corn. And Robertson's going to call it and make the final out of the inning. We are cruising along at Comerica at the end of the 5th. No score. And the Tigers scoreless so far, a pitcher's duel. And here's what we were talking about earlier, and having some fun with the telestrator. What do those numbers mean?
Well, that's Ford Field right there. Then you've got Comerica Park and then Little Caesars Arena. I mean, you could just see how lively it is over here now. The city's on fire.
It really is. Beautiful time to be here in the springtime. Temperature was 70 degrees at first pitch. Not a cloud in the sky, but not a run on the scoreboard so far. We've got ourselves an old-fashioned pitcher's duel. Jordan Zimmerman, first pitch swinging is Sucre, and Iglesias fields and fires over to first for the first out. So Jesus Sucre, 0 for 2 on his birthday. And we come back to the top of the order. Denard Span grounded out to second in his first at bat, popped up to first in the top of the third inning. And you almost hope and pray that there's a runner on base every time Denard Span steps up, because he has just been money with runners on base, especially with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, he's had no real interest in hitting with nobody on. He really hasn't. But all of a sudden, you put a runner on, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
You put a guy out there where he can score.
He's locked in.
Although, you know, him in the batter's box right now, he's in scoring position. He's got a couple of home runs the last couple games.
Back-to-back two-run jacks. And look at this, a 394 with runners on.
Yeah, see, nobody on.
167.
He has no interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here. None on, 167. What do I care? But look at that. Runners on 394. He goes up over 450 if they're in scoring position.
And his teammate, Adani Echeverria, not far behind.
Yeah, how about that? Same thing.
And we hope to see Miggy Cabrera. I know the Rays don't hope to see him, but we're looking at a future Hall of Famer in Miggy. You'd hate to see him miss the entire series. He left yesterday's game in Baltimore with a bicep spasm. There's Span, grounds over to Iglesias. Back-to-back 6 threes in the scorebook, and there's 2 up, 2 down for the Rays. Well, here's what happened with Miggy Cabrera yesterday at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. You saw him right after that swing. It was in his third at bat of the game. Just kind of winced and grabbed that left bicep.
Yeah, and you know what? You can obviously see with what they're wearing. It's a cool day in Baltimore. That the way that swing finished, you know, kind of opened up and exposed that bicep. You knew he wouldn't be in the lineup today. You're just not going to run him back out there the very next day. We'll have to see, you know, the rest of the time here. But that's a huge bat out of the middle of this lineup.
The numbers for Miguel Cabrera are just mind-boggling. Second active in home runs with 465. He's third active in ribbies, 1,629. And he's tied for 34th on the all-time home runs list right now with Dave Winfield.
He's got such a great idea at the plate, and that's why those numbers are what they are.
That ball is ripped, but foul into the seats just before the foul pole. I mean, the Triple Crown, that's like a unicorn in baseball. And he did it back in 2012, and then followed that up with another MVP the following season.
Yeah, and you see the Silver Sluggers, All-Star game 11 times. Triple Crown, the unicorn. Yeah, he was able to get one. We've been trying for years and still find that unicorn elusive. That's why I carry a multicolored unicorn bag if I ever come across
just in
one.
case.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is filled with some treats too, let me tell you.
That ball's inside, 2-2. One of the interesting things, that's a full count now at 3-2 about Miguel Cabrera is, I'm sure other hitters around the league, as much respect as they have for Miggy, they just can't stand him. He makes it look so simple at the plate.
I mean, one of the best all-around right-handed hitters. Such a great approach and consistent.
Crone swings and misses at strike 3. That's strikeout number 5 for Jordan Zimmerman. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Game one of the series between the Rays and the Tigers. Jordan Zimmerman has gone 6 innings, surrendered just 1 hit, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts of Rays batters. But Jake Faria has been up to the task too, entering the 6th inning with just 2 hits allowed, 1 walk, and 5 Ks as we go to the bottom of the 6th. And Faria is going to be facing Victor Reyes at the bottom of the order before the top of this Tigers arc. And Reyes shows bunt and pulls back. It's ball 1.
Well, they've done, both of them have done a great job of limiting base runners. What do we say all the time? You limit base runners, you limit opportunities.
Reyes fouls it off, evens the count at 1-1. Well, in his last start, young Jake Faria did not get out of the 5th inning. So he's already surpassed that, and he is on the way to his best road start of the season and his 3rd start away from Tropicana Field in 2018. It's going to be a 1-2 to Reyes, who comes in hitting just a .133, but he's only had 15 at bats before tonight's game. Here's the 1-2. Fouled back again. Kyle Snyder checking the charts. Has to like what he's seeing right now, not only from the quality of pitches from Jake Faria, but the length that he's giving this rotation in this bullpen.
Yep, even Kevin Cash was mentioning about that. That's what we need out of Jake, and we know he's capable.
That one grounded weakly to Wendell, over to first. Another ground out to the right side for the first out of the inning. You know, that was an easy play for Wendell, but you talk to the people in the front office and the Rays organization, they feel like Joey Wendell has elite defensive ability. His range, his first step, and the first name that comes up when you ask for comps, Ben Zobrist. That's high praise for Joey Wendell.
Yeah, he's an easy player to like. When you just watch how he plays the game, very unassuming, but very athletic, plays everything out hard. You love the effort. And he's another guy that's been given an opportunity. You know, he was in AAA with the Oakland A's in Nashville, putting up numbers for 3 straight seasons. Could not get up to the big leagues because of Jed Lowry. And so, you know, ends up coming over to the Rays and says, okay, now this is my breakthrough. Now I'm going to get a chance, and making the most of it.
Joey Wendell coming into this game, 24 hits. That's tied for most among American League rookies. But it's Jacoby Jones who's at the top of the order for the Detroit Tigers, who gets the 3rd hit of the night for the Tigers.
Yeah, and he got a hanging split and poked that thing out into left field. Like I said, these teams have been limited with their base runners. And just stayed up around the belt. And so now what you think about is Jacoby Jones being put in motion.
Faria back to first base. Jeimer Candelario up. He walked in the 1st, struck out looking in the 4th. 3rd at bat of the night for the switch hitting 3rd baseman. That one called a strike. And it's 0-1 to Candelario. Well, as we are here in Detroit, what's been known for so many decades as Hockey Town. Of course, our favorite team, the Tampa Bay Lightning, in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference playoffs, and right now they have a 2-1 lead on the Boston Bruins in Game 2. Hoping these two teams could vibe off each other. Now it's the Rays trying to pick up the Lightning a little bit.
You want to get everybody vibing and clicking. And I will tell you this, I know, Jacoby still for. I'm watching the hockey game. I didn't realize it was on in the booth. So good luck the rest of the way.
And we've just lost Brian Anderson.
I'm out. Tap it out.
Jones hustles back.
Yeah, you got to figure. You know, Jake Free is thinking exactly like we are. There has been no offense produced so far in this game. So at what point does a team try to create some offense? Jacoby Jones keeping his eye on him.
Ooh, and he's out. The pickoff from Jake Faria gets Jacoby Jones.
He caught him flat-footed. He was not all the way out to his lead yet and in a good athletic position, and he caught him flat-footed.
And Jacoby Jones staying put, maybe hoping that the Tigers will take a second look at the replay.
Flat-footed and moving, and they are going to say, come on back to the dugout. Brad Miller, get that tag there as fast as you can. Got him.
So Jacoby Jones reaches on a single, gets erased, and now there's 2 outs and the bases are empty for Jake Faria. Pitch number 82 on the night with 2 outs in the 6th. Still ahead in the count, 1-2 to Candelario. With Miggy out of the lineup, Jamer Candelario is the biggest power threat for these Tigers. 4 home runs on the year.
Well, he's a nice player, and I'll tell you, the Tigers very high on him. He forced the move of Nick Castellanos out to right field. And I think at the end of the day, the feeling around here in Detroit is it worked out well for everybody. Castellanos better suited to be out there. You know, did some speed and agility training, and you know, is going to be able to cover some ground. Maybe not like an elite.
Swung out and missed. And Jake Faria has strikeout number 6 on the night. He is through 6. We're scoreless from Detroit. Elliott Johnson records the first walk-off hit of his career, an RBI single in the bottom of the 12th inning off Brandon League to propel the Rays to a 3-2 victory.
How about some of the dudes in that shot? You saw David Price there, J.P. Howell.
There's Benzo.
Sean Rodriguez just snuck by. Chris Jimenez. Neiman, our center.
It's been a lot of turnover since then, and this Rays team took a little while to get rolling, but now the fan base is really starting to wrap their arms around this club.
If you don't, there's something wrong with you. This is an easy team to like. They played the game hard. They play it the right way. They play a version of baseball that you recognize. I mean, you know, it's fun.
This offense that we've talked so much about, hitting .343 as a team in their last 8 games, have managed only 1 hit tonight and 2 base runners against Jordan Zimmerman. Daniel Stumpf warming up in the bullpen, the big left-hander. Zimmerman 80 pitches in, in the top of the 7th, and that one ripped. Second hit of the night for Matt Duffy. So the leadoff runner is on for the Rays, and that'll bring up Brad Miller.
Matt Duffy going to find that 5-6 hole on the left side. Got a breaking ball, popped it through, and this is significant. First of all, there hasn't been that many base runners, number one, but number two, leadoff man aboard. Now is the time to apply that pressure.
Well, Jordan Zimmerman has pitched 6 complete innings once this season. And the snapback throw from McCann, not in time to get Duffy. Jordan Zimmerman reached 97 pitches against Baltimore back on April 19th. Outside of that, this is the second most balls that he's thrown in a game this season. And it's 2-0 to Miller. One downside to Duffy being at first, you would have to think that they'd be very conservative with him on the base paths coming off that hamstring injury a couple weeks ago. That one fouled back into the crowd, and it's 2-1. The Rays have been more aggressive on the base paths this season. Part of that get them on, get them over philosophy that's worked so well for him.
You see the straight steals. We've seen guys get put in motion to try to stay out of a double play, a hit and run. But you just get the feeling, I don't know, unless you're feeling that Jordan Zimmerman's starting to tire and the pitches are starting to flatten out. This is not a game that you can just sit back and hope for a big inning. But both of these pitchers have been on the top of their game. And Zimmerman's in that territory that he's not been in very often, or if at all, this season.
He's got a 2-2 count against Brad Miller, who's 0 for 2 on the night. Pop out and a strikeout for Miller in his first 2 plate appearances. And he continues to go back over to first.
Let's just hope the belt holds up. Taking a look.
No wardrobe malfunctions in this one so far. One on, no score. Top of the 7th, back over to first.
That was close. That was close. Belt check.
Well, Zimmerman saw from the dugout what Jake Faria did and said maybe I could pull off the same feat.
You'd love to sneak one of those outs on the bases. Like I said, this is the leadoff man aboard. How often does that lead to runs or a run, anything?
It's the first time this evening that the Rays have had this opportunity. Miller swings and pops it sky high, straight back, and it's going to go into the crowd. Miller with 3 doubles on the year, hitting .278 away from Tropicana Field. He's got a 2-2 pitch coming from Zimmerman.
Well, this is how Jordan Zimmerman really tries to control the potential running game. We've already seen a few more throwovers. That was just a long hold until basically Matt Duffy gave it up and went back to the bag.
Here we go again, 2-2. This one dribbled to first, Zimmerman underhands it and makes the play. That'll advance Duffy to second, fielder's choice, 1-3.
You know, I don't think if that ball gets back, you know, Jordan Zimmerman mad at himself right now for not coming up with that ball clean. I don't think they're going to get the double play ball anyway, the way he's going to have to turn and go. But what ends up happening, you get the out, but it acts as if there was a bunt. You know, get him over. Now get him in. That ball in and out of the glove. Fortunately for Zimmerman, he's able to recover. But now you got that man in scoring position, and you got a couple cracks at it.
It looked like for a split second Zimmerman was thinking two and maybe took his eye off the ball for just that fraction of the second to let it carry him off his glove.
This is the Rays' first opportunity here tonight with the runner in scoring position.
Good guy at the plate in this situation, Daniel Robertson, and time is called again.
Well, did you see the eyes of Jordan Zimmerman? If you're able to see that at home, he was looking back, looking at Matt Duffy, and then his eyes were going to Dixon Machado, just staring at him. That makes Matt Duffy wonder what in the world is he looking at. I'm not going to be able to see it here because his head's turned, but
that's 0-1 against Daniel Robertson. It's been a tough night at the plate for Robertson. Fooled both times. Struck out looking in the second and the fourth. And we talked about how Robertson has had a great eye this season, drawing a lot of walks, but also has a much more mature approach at the plate. You've got to think maybe third time through he might have something in store for Jordan Zimmerman. There they try to pick him off at second.
He was sending the signal with his eyes. You could see it. When he was looking at Matt Duffy, the eyes, you could see nothing. All of a sudden you could see the whites, and that's because he's rolling his eyes, staring at Machado. Look,
there it is right there.
And again.
Yep.
That's it. Oh, I love that stuff. You're just sending signals.
And now the 0-1. Swung on and driven to center field. That's going to send Jacoby Jones back. He makes the catch, and Duffy will tag and stop at third. Well, good wood from Daniel Robertson, but the fly out to center. There's now 2 outs with a runner on third, and that's going to bring up Joey Wendell. Joey Wendell hitting .500 in his last 7 games coming in. And he's been a monster away from Tropicana Field to a .424 batting average. Big moment here for the rookie second baseman.
Yeah, let that all click into place.
Wendell flew out to left and lined out to right in his 2 at-bats tonight. Jake Faria, it's been a good, if not great, outing for him so far. Here's the pitch to Wendell, taken for a strike, 1-1. 2 outs, top of the 7th, no score. Jordan Zimmerman and Jake Faria matching goose eggs so far in Detroit.
And he knows that this is the end of his line, so it is time to empty it.
Here's the 1-1, swung on and drilled deep, but foul.
Now that's getting it started for sure. Now you come with a fastball up and in like that, and a guy turns, you immediately start to think soft down and away. But with 2 strikes, Joey Wendell may be kind of recalibrating here and thinking something soft down and away, and I'm going to shoot it into left field.
Huge pitch for Zimmerman. 1-2
Change
with 2 outs. Man on third. That's grounded to short. Iglesias fields, fires, and Zimmerman escapes with a runner on third. Jordan Zimmerman, 7 innings of no-hit ball, and the Tigers are coming up. Let's go places. And by your local Honda dealer. Nighttime has fallen in Detroit. It's been a pitcher's duel throughout. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Only 5 hits between the two teams, the Tigers and the Rays, scoreless in game 1 of this 3-game series from Motown. Jake Faria has been at his best so far in 2018. This is his first time where he'll be pitching into the 7th inning, his season high. So far 6 innings. That came 2 starts ago in a home start against the Texas Rangers, where he surrendered 5 hits and 1 run with 1 walk and 6 strikeouts. He's been better than that tonight. He's got to be careful now with the heart of the order coming up for the Tigers. Nick Castellanos leads it off. Castellanos with 1 of the 3 Tiger hits tonight. He doubled his last time up in the 4th. NBA, you were talking about Castellanos. That 1-0 is inside. 2-0, and his transition from third base to outfield, you never really know what the true effects are at the plate, but although he's hitting very well, the home run totals have struggled so far. He only has 2 dingers. It took him 18 games to get his first home run of the season. Here's the 2-0. Taken for a strike, 2-1.
And you know what, as we look at this lineup, as you know, obviously Miguel Cabrera adds some more pop into that lineup, and Victor Martinez is slowing down just a hair. You see him right there, but they are counting on Nick Castellanos to give them power and production. He's got to produce for this lineup. If he's not, where does it come from? I mean, really, where does it come from? You see that there are certainly some holes, but they need their big guys to come through in a big way.
Castellanos just 2 for 13 in that series at Baltimore that Detroit lost 2 of 3. A career high last year with 26 homers and 101 RBIs. Here's the 2-2. And that one's popped up. Gomez chasing after it, and he runs out of room.
See, the guy in the orange shirt, you could try to catch that one. Not there anymore, but Carlos Gomez, he's got that 1 gear. Whoa, whoa.
That was a whoop, whoop, whoop situation for Carlos Gomez.
And it wasn't like that ball was a row or 2 in. It was in the stands pretty significantly.
He put on the brakes like Fred Flintstone.
Yeah. You need to get bigger cleats.
And that young man doesn't know how lucky he was just now. Here's the 2-2. Fouled away. We'll do it again on pitch number 90 coming up. Look at the track marks.
Yeah, that's he needs a brake check. He needs to take those shoes in for service.
A little tire rotation for Gogo. Another foul ball from Castellanos. Good at bat for him. The 2-2. Fouled off Sucre, and the count remains 2-2.
And right in the middle of that chest protector, you could see him wince. That'll knock the air right out of you.
An old baseballism, the tools of ignorance, in effect right there for Suki.
Boom.
These catchers are gluttons for punishment, aren't they?
All summer long. Well, you know, it starts in spring.
Yeah.
And they get a good 8 months of that, 7.5, 8 months.
The 2-2, an easy ground ball. Robertson fields, fires over to Miller, 1 away.
Well, he had to work for it. But Jake Faria able to get that leadoff hitter, Daniel Robertson. Nice play out there at shortstop, getting that chance to play there tonight. So valuable. You can play him all over. You know, you think about second base, you think about over at third base, shortstop. You could throw him in the outfield if you needed to.
It's funny, utility, when you heard that term in baseball a few years back, it meant you were a light hitting guy, you weren't all that valuable. In the Rays organization, and really all around baseball now.
Yeah.
Utility means versatility, which means you're going to hang around in the big leagues for a long time.
And that utility that you speak of was light hitting, and it was I play second and short.
Right.
That's it. You're not playing him on the corner. Certainly not going to think about the outfield. But boy, you look all across the game. That versatility and allowing it allows your 25-man team to play as if it was 26 or 27, and that's where the value comes in.
Here's Victor Martinez, 0 for 2 tonight against Faria. Looking at a 1-0 pitch. And that's taken for ball 2. Now 95 pitches for Jake Faria, a dozen more than his previous season high of 83.
Boy, what did we say when we were talking about, I think it was during the pregame show, Kevin Cash is going to let you go. If you're pitching effectively, he wants you to get deep.
This ball grounded to second. Fielded cleanly by Wendell.
Right
Check that, make it Daniel Robertson, who was over there in a Danny Echeverria spot.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, and that's where you've got to point that out, because Echeverria, when he slides over there, he's got the neon, yellow.
Right. Can't miss him.
Can't miss him. All of a sudden, Wendell, Daniel Robertson, got to make that distinction.
Two up, 2 down in the 7th for Jake Faria, looking to complete 7 innings, and that is music to the Rays staff's ears. Coming off yesterday, Matt Andriese going 4 innings and turned into a bullpen burning day in so many words. If they ever needed quality innings out of their starter, they got it tonight. Now double barrel. Relievers warming up for the Rays. Chaz Rowe and Jose Alvarado, lefty-righty. Jake 2 pitches shy of the century mark. Here's the 1-1 to McCann. Swung on, fouled back. He's ahead in the count, 1-2.
You start to think once again about that split. He's been able to get him 2 different times on that pitch, and some of them he's been able to elicit some swings on splits that weren't even close.
A little bit of an oddity for Jake Faria when you look at the numbers, especially some of the big numbers like an 18 ERA on the road. And then all of a sudden you look farther down, you see he's got 1 run or fewer allowed in 3 of his 5 starts this year. If he continues this way, going to be 4 out of his 6 starts where he's around 1 or fewer. Ground ball up the middle. Faria couldn't field it. Wendell does and gets him. Heads up defense by Joey Wendell, and Jake Faria is through 7. We head to the 8th, and Detroit still scoreless.
How about this? Tying a major league record for most grand slams before May the 1st. Boston Red Sox, 6 of them. This one courtesy of Xander Bogaerts. And you have to like the way Xander Bogaerts, you saw that pitch kind of coming up and in. He stayed on top of that, down through the baseball, creating some backspin. And
yes,
that backspin just shot right out of the yard.
Well, no one likes to hear that backspin conversation more than Ozzie Timmons, the first base coach for the Tampa Bay Rays.
I got my ears roasted last night by Ozzie Timmons.
A backspin guru.
Yeah, so listen, we're going to highlight some backspin, and there it is. Forget launch angle. Backspin and carry.
The only backspin I knew of was on Sirius Satellite Radio, the old retro hip-hop station.
Isn't satellite radio, I mean, it's the best.
The best.
You can never go back.
Yeah. Got a new pitcher for the Tigers after Jordan Zimmerman goes 7 strong. It's the big left-hander Daniel Stumpfon. And the Rays will have their hands full with Stump. 27-year-old, 6'2", 200 pounds. 12 of his last 13 appearances have been scoreless. Carlos Gomez on base once so far tonight with a second-inning walk. He struck out in his second at-bat. And Gomez skies a high fly ball into left field. Under it is Reyes, and there's one away. Well, I think it's safe to say, BA, that Jordan Zimmerman has his best outing of 2018 tonight against the Rays.
By far and away. I mean, we saw his numbers. His ERA was approaching 8 and had come off a couple subpar starts. But boy, was he excellent tonight. And he did it by, he pitched backwards early. A lot of curveballs early in the count. First time through the Rays lineup. Established the fastball for strikes. Expanded when he needed to. Really didn't miss any pitches at all. He gave up a hit to Duffy the other way, hung him a slider that a leadoff hit, but able to pitch around that leadoff base runner too. That was huge in this 0-0 game.
That brings up Malik Smith with 1 out in the top of the 8th. Lefty on lefty matchup. Smith swinging, fouls it off, and it's going to be 1-1.
This Rays lineup, not too sad to see him ride off into the sunset.
Malik Smith 0 for 2 tonight, but he came into the evening 4th in the American League in batting average and tied for 3rd in the AL in stolen bases. It's been a banner first month of the season for Malik Smith. Stump heavy on the pass ball, has a slider as well. Smith behind in the count, 1-2. Well, the Rays are no strangers to close games. They've had more than their fair share of 1-run contests as Smith swings at the Stump, offering the strikeout for Stump, and there's 2 away. Well, here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your local Honda dealer. We'll have an interview with Chris Archer as he gets set for his next start against the Tigers. Orestes is going to break down the bat of Nicholas Castellanos. All that and a whole lot more coming up on the best pregame show in baseball, Rays Live, tomorrow at 6:30. Two up, 2 down. Time for Jesus Sucre to take his first look at Daniel Stump.
A fastball slider with a very closed off setup here. You see where Stump comes set, trying to hide that hand as long as he can.
Sucre's had a good year at the plate in his limited exposure. .320 against lefties this year. Swings and misses at that one. 1-2 now.
And clearly just did not pick that pitch up very well. That looked to be a slider. I mean, it was so low out of the hand. You're assuming that's what it was based on the velocity and his arsenal.
Whether it's Zimmerman or Faria and now Stump, it seems like the batters have been on their heels all night.
They certainly have. Need that one mistake.
That ball in the dirt evens the count at 2-2.
That's the one you swing at and then run to first.
Sucre grounds it weakly to second. Machado fields over to first. 1-2-3 inning again. The Tigers coming up. It'll be Hicks, Machado, and Iglesias in the bottom of the 8th. Sun. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Well, 7 innings and 99 pitches in. Jake Faria comes out for the 8th. And he's going to face John Hicks, the leadoff batter, in the bottom of the 8th for the Tigers.
And why not? I mean, he has thrown the ball extremely well, and you don't see any drop-off in stuff.
This ball skied to deep right field. Carlos Gomez under it, makes the catch, 1 away.
Kevin Cash, you know, needs his starters to get deeper into games, and now trusting Jake Faria. You know, these are growing moments. You know, you hear about that 3rd time through the order, and not a lot of guys get these opportunities. It's different pitching in that 8th, 9th inning.
Well, it's amazing. If you watch Rays baseball for any extended period of time, you don't think of Jake as young, because we saw so much of him last year. He's 24 years old.
Yeah.
This is relatively uncharted territory for Jake.
Yeah, and it's one thing to get this deep into a game just because you're throwing the ball well, but to get this deep into a ball game and it's 0-0. I mean, every pitch is paramount. Everything matters.
Here's the 1-0 to Machado, who's 0 for 2 tonight. Evens the count at 1-1. I'm sure these are hand-wringing moments for Kevin Cash. They have all the charts and graphs and analytics that could tell you what to do. Sometimes you just got to go with your gut. This ball fouled back, and again Faria ahead in the count, 1-2, and that's something we've said early and often tonight, BA. It's been the key to his success.
Yep. I mean, we thought we would see early on what Jake Faria we were going to get. He was locked in early. He's continued that. He's pitched from out in front. That puts a lot of pressure on the hitter. 2-strike hitting's not easy.
This one grounded weakly foul.
You know, pitches you normally would not swing at, you're now forced to. And when you've got a guy out there that's been able to manipulate his pitches and manipulate the strike zone like Jake, well, you're at a severe disadvantage.
Here's the 1-2 to Machado. In the dirt, 2-2. Got to go back to July 25th of last year against Baltimore. Jake's career high 7 1/3 innings pitched. So he's matched that here in Detroit in his 6th start of the season. That ball taken away. And now it's a full count as the pitch count gets up to 108. Machado 0 for 2 with a pop out and a ground out. The 3-2. This one grounded to third. Duffy fields it cleanly over to Miller, 2 away. So a new career high in terms of innings pitched for Jake Faria. He's gone 7 2/3. And not only that, he's done it in shutout style. 108 pitches, 71 strikes.
Well, bear down, another one to get. This is most likely your last guy that you're going to face.
And wouldn't you know it, it's Jose Iglesias who has one of the hits tonight. 3 in total for the Tigers. Iglesias doubled in the 3rd, popped out to short in the 5th. As a matter of fact, 7 2/3 now, BA. This is the longest any Rays starter has gone into a game this whole season.
Yep. Blake Snell, 7 1/3. He's been the only one to get 7+.
Want to figure out a way to lower your road ERA from 18?
Yeah.
Take a look at tonight's contest. This one skied to shallow center. Smith coming in. Calls off Wendell, makes the grab, and it's 3 up, 3 down. What an effort from the 24-year-old right-hander, Jake Faria. Tonight, his best start by far of this 2018 season, especially in stark contrast to his first 2 road starts this season, BA.
How about it? I mean, 12 earned in 6 innings, and tonight 8 shutout. Boy, how good was Jake, and we saw it early on, in complete control of his arsenal, of the strike zone, of the counts, and he would just continue that for 8 innings. And he was just fantastic. His best start of the season, maybe the Rays' best start of the season so far, and exactly what Kevin Cash was looking for and wanted.
And now Detroit's closer Shane Green enters the game. And the top of the order for the Rays, Denard Span, 0 for 3 tonight. It's got to be a great feeling, huh?
Oh,
Throw the hoodie on, relax, cheer on your team in the 9th.
And pray that run comes right now, so I get the W.
Yeah, get the dub while you're at it.
I'm going to put up 8 shutout. I'd like to have something to show for it.
And you know what? You talked about D. Span not being as engaged when there's nobody on. Well, in a 0-0 game in the 9th, he's locked in.
I think so. I absolutely think so.
A professional hitter, Denard Span. Tied for 8th in the American League with 21 RBIs. Here's the 1-1. Take it for a strike, 1-2. Shane Green, an interesting story, almost the de facto closer for the Detroit Tigers. Started his career as a starter in the Yankees organization, came over here. Now they have a youngster, Joe Jimenez, who is the closer in waiting, but until then it's Shane Green's jobs.
Yeah, and with him it's sinker, slider, cutter, and he's going to try to get you looking in all different directions at all different speeds.
The 2-2. Fouled off from Span. Here's Chaz Rowe looking on from the Detroit Visitors bullpen. Jake Faria's done his job and done it in spades. Here's the 2-2. Outside, ball 3. Shane Green certainly not going to overpower you. He's cut down on his fastball use dramatically from last year to this. Here's the 3-2. Swung on and foul. So we'll do it all over again.
Well, another long quality at bat, and we've seen an awful lot of these from Denard Span. You know, he's seeing, coming into play tonight, over 4 pitches per plate appearance, 4.12. He's never been even 2-4, everything below that. So that just shows you, you're seeing more pitches, longer at bats, fouling off pitches, you know, extending.
And I know I've heard you say this before, but it's great for maybe the novice baseball fan watching right now. Not only is this good for Denard Span, it's good for everybody in the Rays dugout. You get to see Shane Green throw a few pitches.
And we've seen all of them. We've seen the sinker, we've seen the slider, we've seen the cutter. Lots of intel.
And Span draws the walk.
That's it. You've got to make that at bat count, period.
Well, the heart of the order coming up. C.J. Cron, Matt Duffy, Brad Miller. Cron has been as hot as anyone in this scorching hot Rays offense. He's had hits in 15 of his last 16 games. He was 1 for 4 yesterday, 0 for 3 tonight, though. Span on first. Cron looks at ball 1. And at 34 years old, Denard Span can still turn on the Jets. That inside the park home run he had a couple of games ago in Boston, he went from home around the bases in under 16 seconds. Ball outside again, ball 2.
Yeah, that's firing it up pretty good. You know, not realizing either. You know, the ball gets by out there, Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field. You don't know who's closing in on it, and you're just whistling your way around the base paths. But he did cover it in a very lickety-split manner.
Here's the 2-0. Swung on and drilled to right field. Deep and gone! C.J. Cron comes up huge in the 9th inning for the Rays. Another 2-run blast from Cron. Home run number 7 for the Rays' number 2 hitter. And what a great piece of hitting. Usually you see C.J. Cron pull or go to center. Now he goes oppo.
Well, that's how strong he is, and that just speaks to his strength. Let that ball travel. He knew it too. You could tell right when that ball left the bat, he knew it was gone. He got it out the other way. 2-run lead, and guess what? That puts Jake Free in line to be able to collect that W.
C.J. Cron now with 19 RBIs, second on the team in that department.
And the at-bat by Denard Spand to reach base, let everybody see all the pitches.
Duffy pops it up into shallow right field. Machado under it makes the grab. 1 away. Think these guys are having fun?
Oh. That clubhouse has got to be a blast. A lot of confidence. There seems to be a lot of camaraderie.
And in this type of game where the pitchers have dominated, a 2-0 lead feels like 10-0.
Oh, I'm already packing up.
Not so fast, my friend.
That's true. You got to wait till this thing finishes off, and then you and I need to put everybody to bed.
Well, the fans have spoken. They want more Brian Anderson, and we're going to give them more Brian Anderson.
Well, I can assure you that you misheard that.
Rays coming in, winners of 8 of their last 9, looking to make it 9 of their last 10. They've got a 2-0 lead with 2 runs courtesy of C.J. Cron in the top of the 9th. Brad Miller up with nobody on and 1 out. And Miller into the gap. And that one's out of here. A laser from Brad Miller. Home run number 2 for the Rays first baseman. And an insurance run for Tampa Bay as they take a 3-0 lead in the 9th.
Well, I'll tell you this. Ozzie Timmons is stoked because this is all about down through the baseball and creating backspin. Look at that, right down and through that baseball and just smoked it the other way too. This park plays big. Brad Miller just made it look small.
And Victor Reyes thought he might have a play on that, but the ball just kept carrying into the Rays bullpen. Chaz Rowe has himself a souvenir. And we have another pitching change. Buck Farmer will come on for the Detroit Tigers, down 3-0 to the mighty Rays. by Brad Miller, and now Jake Faria in line for the win. It's good to have options. That's why the Florida Lottery has over 70 unique scratch-off games. So add a little play to your day with these new games. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 years or older to play. Play responsibly. Well, Shane Green came on, the Detroit closer, greeted rudely by the Rays offense. They now have 29 home runs on the year. And how about this, BA? 19 home runs in their last 8 games.
Yeah, they were lagging in that category. You know, had the fewest in Major League Baseball. But, you know, when you start to piece together why this Rays offense is so hot right now, well, they continue to move the baseball. They continue to be able to build innings, put at bats together, get them over, get them in, and then all of a sudden here comes the home run ball back. Now it's all working.
And Robertson swings and misses at strike 3. That's the second out of the 9th inning.
Boy, 2 of the heroes of the 9th inning, Denard Span with that leadoff 9-pitch walk. And then Brad Miller, of course, giving the Rays their 3rd run with an absolute missile into left center field with plenty of backspin. Ozzie.
Well, big right-hander Buck Farmer now on. Gave up what turned out to be the game-winning run yesterday at Baltimore, what was a 5-3 loss for the Tigers. And I'm sure Ron Gardenhire wasn't expecting or hoping that Buck would have to pitch in this game. But you look at the Rays' home runs in the first 19 compared to these last 8.
And in bunches there. You know, the games with 3+ home runs, they've done it 4 times. They're doing it with runners on base. That's why those, you know, for a while there, it was 8 runs a game. Then they went to 4. Immediately followed that up with 12, so they maintained that 8 runs a game average. I mean, they've been red hot.
7 of their last 11 games, they've scored 8 or more runs. Tonight only 3, but if things hold up, 3 is more than enough. Jake Faria going 8 strong, shutout ball, surrendering just 3 hits. His night is done. And here's a good one for you, BA. The Rays are 6-0 coming in when they hit multiple home runs in a game. They've hit 2 tonight.
Well, now I am going to pack up. We're all done here.
I just spoiled it for you. My son just went with his friends to see the new Avengers movie, and he wanted to tell me all about it. I said, don't tell me. I will see it eventually. Don't spoil the ending.
No filter.
No. That ball grounded first. Farmer over to first to field it. But the damage has been done by the Rays offense. Showing up late and in the clutch. A 2-run opposite field jack by C.J. Cron, followed up by a solo shot by Brad Miller. And the Rays have a 3-zip lead going into the bottom of the 9th. Tampa Bay Rays, they get 3 in the top of the 9th. Miller, a solo shot, his second on the season. C.J. Cron before him with a 2-run home run to the opposite field, staking the Rays to a 3-run lead. And now we put StatCast to work on the dingers.
You know, and you thought that maybe the home run, the long ball would play in this game because no one could piece together an inning. And how about an exit velocity of 111.1 the other way? That is strong. And how about Brad Miller? Let's see what he's got for us right here, because that was a shot. Boom. 107.9.
Yeah, look at the launch angle, only 20 degrees. Usually got to get it up to get it out.
Well,
spin,
not if you
backspin.
Yeah, there you go.
So on is Chaz Rowe, trying to close this one out for the Rays with a 3-0 lead. 8 of his last 9 appearances have been scoreless.
Slider deluxe from Chaz Rowe.
Now it's going to be Nico Goodrum, the left-hander, pinch hitting for Ron Gardenhire's Tigers.
Well, Nico Goodrum not real happy, and you can understand why. Watch where this pitch ends up. That's okay. Take it.
Here's the 1-1. Low, 2 balls, 1 strike to Goodrum. 26-year-old, signed as a minor league free agent. Came over from the Minnesota Twins, where he was a September call-up in that organization last year. He's got himself a 4-game hit streak. In a tight spot here, swings and misses, 2-2.
Filthy. That's all that you can say about that slider from Chaz Rowe. He's got a really good one. Disappear.
A lot of different looks from one pitcher, Chaz Rowe. Here's the 2-2 to Goodrum. And it almost hit him. Instead, it'll be a full count.
Almost looked like that slider went through his legs. I mean, that left the hand. You're like, this is going to hit him. How he got out of the way, that I'm not real sure. Oh.
Maybe under his foot.
Yes, I think you're exactly right.
Here's the 3-2. Swung on and missed. And how many times have we seen that from Chaz Rowe this year? That'll bring up the top of the order.
There it is. Not his best offering, but didn't need to be in this case. Wanted to keep that slider in the zone.
Chaz Rowe, one of those out-of-the-box type personalities away from the field, but when he's on the mound, he is all business.
And he uses that fastball. Did he get some good arm side run with it, and that slider? He plays them off each other so well, and he even will move on the mound from time to time to create a little different look.
That ball inside, 1-1. Jacoby Jones had a base hit his last time up, then picked off at first base by Jake Faria. So he's 1 for 3 tonight. The 1-1. Inside again. And they're saying it hit Jacoby Jones. So the Tigers have a base runner with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, that's the one thing you want to avoid is unnecessary base runners. Obviously, as you start to get in the middle of the lineup, but that 93-mile-an-hour fastball ran in, looked like it got Jacoby Jones right in the front part of his jersey.
And that's going to bring up Jeimer Candelario, who's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. He did walk in the first inning. But Candelario has some pop in his bat. 4 home runs this year. 1 on, 1 out, bottom of the 9th. The Rays trying to start a brand new win streak. Their 8-game streak got snapped yesterday at Fenway in Boston, a 4-3 loss to the Red Sox. The Rays win moves them back to within 1 game of 500. Here's the 1-0. Got the inside part of the plate, 1-1.
I think the Rays realize that this Detroit Tiger team is vulnerable. They've played very well within the American League Central, which has struggled as a whole. And so you look at these games as opportunities. They're geeked up to come in here and win some. Got a great chance here tonight.
And Goodrum tries to steal. Make that Jones, and he's in there safely. That's the 4th stolen base on the season for Jacoby Jones.
We wondered if he was going to go earlier in the game on Jake Faria. Didn't do it, but he's able to swipe one there.
And now the rare runner in scoring position. This is only the 3rd time tonight that the Tigers have an opportunity to bring one around with a base knock. We've had 2 runners reach 3rd, and now Jones stands at 2nd with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. That ball in the dirt, 2-2 now to Candelario. No one more invested in the outcome of this game than Jake Faria. Pitched 8 shutout innings tonight. The 2-2 from Rowe. And that one will be caught by Wendell. And they almost got Jones at 3rd. It's going to go as a base hit for Candelario.
I'll tell you what a heady play by Joey Wendell. That was some thinking right there. He had no play at first base. And the thinking was maybe Jacoby Jones thinks that ball gets up the middle, maybe runs through a stop sign, or maybe takes a long turn at 3rd. So he gets rid of this immediately, just soft tosses it over there, trying to catch Jacoby Jones napping. Boy, heady play. Didn't work out, but that, good idea.
And with all that said, Nicholas Castellanos comes to the plate as the potential tying run in a 3-0 game. And Kyle Snyder will visit Chaz Rowe on the mound. Well, stick with us. Immediately following the end of this game, we'll have Rays Live, the postgame, presented by WB Mason. We'll anchor the coverage from the booth. We'll hear Kevin Cash's press conference from the visitors' clubhouse, and Michelle Margot will be in there as well with interviews from the clubhouse. Looking forward to hear Jake Faria break down his 8-inning shutout performance tonight. But right now, all the Rays are concerned with is getting this win in game 1 of this 3-game series, and the bullpen is active again with the big left-hander Jose Alvarado warming up. Alex Colomé pitched yesterday in Boston, gave up the game-winning run. Kevin Cash trying to have Chaz Rowe close this one out. Things are dicey. Runners on the corners, 1 out. And one of the best hitters in the American League at the plate for Detroit. That one fouled off, so immediately Rowe gets ahead of the count. Castellanos grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in the first inning. He doubled in the 4th and grounded out to short in the 7th. Here's the 0-1. That one popped foul. Miller will give chase, but it's out of bounds.
Well, and he's gotten away with 2 sliders that were right out over the plate, and not exactly as sharp as Chaz Rowe would like, but since they were just fouled off, make the adjustment here. Now, if you want to go fastball, but make the adjustment on the slider. He hasn't seen your really good one yet. That's where you can really get him to chase and swing wildly over one. You give him your A+ here.
Castellanos just 2 home runs on the season.
Heater.
Here's the 0-2. And it hit him. The second batter this inning that Chaz Rowe has hit. And the Tigers fans could boo all they want, but they've got the bases loaded now with 1 out. And the game-winning run will walk to the plate in the shape of Victor Martinez.
Yeah, the fastball up and in. Again, 92, 93 miles an hour. And just not able to command it. And, boy, that's the last thing you wanted to do. 0-2 count.
And now Kevin Cash forced to go back to the bullpen. That'll do it for Chaz Rowe. We'll take a break. Our Flattery Lartery calling the bullpen. Out for the Rays. The Rays up 3-0, and now the bases are loaded with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th, and the game-winning run will be coming to the plate in Victor Martinez. So now it's Jose Alvarado's turn to try to end this contest in game 1 of this 3-game series with the Tigers.
Well, and Kevin Cash said, listen, the stuff is devastating. It is elite. And he has become a strike thrower. As you see, the strikeout to walk ratio is 4-1, more than a strikeout an inning, 98 to 100 with the fastball, slider, curveball. It's all nasty, and it better be here with the bases juiced.
And for the first time tonight, the crowd inside Comerica Park, they're on their collective feet.
Dozens of them.
Alvarado's been as dominant as any reliever in the American League so far this season. Hasn't allowed a run in 8 appearances, spanning more than 7 innings pitched. Huge moment here for the 22-year-old. And that one is driven but foul. And it'll be out of play for strike 1 on Victor Martinez. So a 39-year-old veteran at the plate, a 22-year-old young fireballer, and Jose Alvarado facing him.
And we talked earlier about Victor Martinez and that bat slowing down just a little bit. Can he reach back and try to speed that up? He's going to have to here against Alvarado.
Opponents hitting just 174 against the big boy. Here's the 0-1 with the bases loaded. And he tops 100 miles, but it goes for a ball. You could say it about Chaz Rowe, and you could say it as well about Jose Alvarado. You can have elite stuff, but when it comes down to closing a game out, the human element, the mental side of things come into play. Big time.
No safety net. I mean, you're out there, you've got to get the last couple outs of a game. That's not easy.
Martinez 0 for 3 tonight. That's a base hit up the middle. 1 run scores. 2 runs will score, and we've got ourselves a 1-run ball game. A 1-out, 2 RBI base hit from the veteran Victor Martinez.
Well, he's immediately going to be lifted here for a pinch runner. You knew that was coming. His job tonight here is done, and he was able to dial it up, use the middle of the field. Leonis Martin coming in, got right to that fastball and popped it right back through the middle. And this game just a little too close here for Ray's comfort. It's boy, and the self-inflicted wounds, the hit batters.
Rays have seen more than their fair share of 1-run games. They're 4-8 in such contests previously this season. So now 1 out, runners on first and second. And McCann looks at ball 1.
You know, McCann had an awful time with Jake Faria's changeup, his split. He just never could figure that pitch out. Completely different animal here. He's going to see the hard stuff.
McCann has hit safely in 9 of his last 10 games. He's 0 for 3 tonight. And that's 99 miles an hour, but it's taken for ball 2.
And now as a hitter, you're able to start to hone in. If I got a 2-0 count, I am doing nothing but sitting on a fastball in my hot zone. Wherever I prefer the pitch, that's what I'm looking for. I can choose to get picky here.
McCann swings at another heater up in the zone.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly sure that that's where you want that pitch. You're going to get a 98 to 100 mile an hour fastball, in this case triple digits, up above the zone. You don't have a chance.
McCann still ahead in the count, 2-1. Alvarado has not surrendered a home run this year.
Oh.
And they check, and it's a ball called, so that'll make it 3-1.
Fastball down and in, 99. Oh, man.
I don't know about that.
Should have been a swing. Absolutely. The intent was there.
Can't review balls and strikes. The count is 3-1. The roller coaster ride that is baseball. Swung on and missed, full count.
Boy, 0 strike zone discipline by McCann. 0. That should have been strike 3. Yes, on all the pitches. Think about the 2 pitches that he's swung at in this at bat. 98 below the zone, 100 above the zone.
So now the count is full. We're in the bottom of the 9th. The Rays lead at 3-2. 1 out, 2 on for the Tigers. The pitch. And he barely got a piece of that one.
Below the zone. He swung it. I don't know if Alvarado's actually thrown him a strike in this at bat. In fact, he hasn't. None that would have been cold, but still have a chance to put him away.
Here's the 3-2 from Alvarado. And that's sky to left center field. Coming over to grab it is Denard Span, 2 away. So the Tigers are down to their last out. And John Hicks steps to the plate with 2 away and 2 on. Hicks doesn't get many opportunities, but when he does, he's made the most of them. Has a 5-game hitting streak coming into tonight and a solo home run yesterday at Oriole Park in Camden Yards, albeit in a losing effort. He's 0 for 3 tonight. A strikeout in the 2nd, a ground out to short in the 5th, and he flew out to right in the 8th. Now he faces Jose Alvarado with 2 on and 2 outs. The Rays up 1. That ball just outside at 99 miles an hour for ball 1. Check swing, foul, and that evens the count at 1-1. The Rays are 10-1 when they lead after the 8th inning. They took a 3-zip lead into the bottom of the 9th, courtesy of a 2-run homer in the top of the 9th by C.J. Cron, followed up by a solo shot by Brad Miller. Now the Tigers are threatening. 2 runs in, 2 base runners on with 2 outs. Here's the 1-1. Curveball in there for strike 2. That was a money pitch from Alvarado.
Yes, it was. It has been nothing but fastballs, and you know that these Detroit hitters, in this case John Hicks, are dialed in on that pitch, and then all of a sudden you yank that out. Not only is it for a strike, but now he's got to cover everything. He's got to at least consider that pitch.
Here comes the 1-2 from Alvarado. In the dirt. And the count evens at 2-2. And Sucre looks like he might have taken it on the thumb.
And they try to keep the throwing hand protected and hidden because of just this. And you can see the pain that he's in. Curveball yanked down low, but that hand comes out to block, and it catches right off the thumb. Got all thumb and then up the body. Again, the amount of abuse you take at that position.
Now he's saying to Jose, all we need is 1 more pitch. Alvarado takes the sign from Sucre. 2 on, 2 out, 2-2 count. They check with the first base umpire. He didn't go, says Marvin Hudson.
And you talk about doing a really good job here at the plate. Hicks, a nasty breaking ball, and he does hold up. He's gotten 3 in a row. Now that the count is full, do you go back on just sitting on the fastball? Does Alvarado throw another 3-2 breaking ball?
Conviction of your pitches. Here it comes. And ball 4 outside. He went off speed and he missed. So the bases are loaded.
Just didn't get out in front enough. Stayed out the way. And now the bases are juiced. And Kyle Snyder out to talk to Jose Alvarado. He went nothing but hard stuff almost his entire time out there. And then the last 4 pitches, he goes with the breaking ball. First one he got in there and then missed with 3 straight.
Well, Dixon Machado will come up. A single could potentially win the game for the Tigers. They've got Castellanos on third. Leonis Martin, who came on as a pinch runner for Victor Martinez on second, and John Hicks on with a walk on first. Machado came into tonight, 213 at the plate. Just 1 home run and 12 RBIs. Bases are loaded. We're in the bottom of the ninth. 2 outs. All the scoring in this game done in the 9th inning. 3-2 Rays. Here's the first pitch to Machado. Outside at 98 miles an hour, ball 1.
And Sucre urging him over the plate here. Trust your stuff.
Here's the 1-0. That one in the zone for a strike at 99. The 1-1 swung at and fouled back. And now Jose Alvarado is ahead in the count 1-2.
Well, you know what makes you nervous here is the Rays, and you know, listen, they have good reason for it, but they've got Joey Wendell way up here and a wide open hole on this right side. When you think about 99-mile-an-hour fastballs, 100-mile-an-hour fastballs away, the guy may want to pull it and just can't, and he finds that open hole on the right side. It'd be disastrous.
Machado steps out. Alvarado will reset. Here's the 1-2. In the dirt.
Boy, it's Sucre, and he's hurting again.
He's really hurt now.
Yep, and he had to make another tough block on that ball in the dirt. Let's see where it gets him. Don't tell me that thumb again. Well, right in that left, yeah, got him right over there again, close to it. Look at him doing everything to keep it in, right up that wrist.
Just below the thumb. I guess you only hope that it's on the fatty part of the hand, but obviously from the pain that Jesus Sucre looks like he's in right now, I don't know if that's the case.
Well, look at.
Jesus Sucre on his 30th birthday today, getting back-to-back starts with Wilson Ramos sidelines, if only temporarily, and he's starting to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, and you hope that he's able to stay in, because if you ended up having to go to Wilson Ramos, going to take him time to get, you know, equipment up, and you've got your pitcher out there just kind of hanging, so you're going to stay in.
Well, after a visit from Mark Vincent and Kevin Cash, Sucre crouches behind the plate. It's a 2-2 count. Jose Alvarado trying to wiggle his way out of this one and give the Rays their 9th win in the last 10 games. Here's the 2-2. Ground ball. Robertson over to Wendell. Game over. A clutch performance. First from Jake Faria with 8 shutout innings on the start, and then Jose Alvarado sweated out the save. And the Rays win it in what is arguably more thrilling fashion than they would have cared. Your final score at Comerica Park is 3-2. Jose Alvarado with his first career save.
And here it is, fastball down, and